Good Gang? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to. Wait, it's just. There we
Squid
go. So today we're going to be reacting to Film Dairy's newest video, How to Survive Squid Game Season 3. This Season 3 was the last season. It ended on kind of a cliffhanger. If they ever come back for a Squid Game 2, here and see how that goes.
Game Season 3 is finally here, and the last of the games have been revealed. So, let me tell you the best way to survive them.
Please tell me, Lee. Please, I really need to know.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that has all 3 keys to the exit. And what's behind that door? Well, would you look at that? It's the subscribe button.
Crazy.
So, Squid Game is back, and to be honest, I was a bit surprised with how Season 3 panned out. No
Really?
spoilers, but I thought the ending was both very satisfying on a character level and set up the future of the franchise well.
See, it did.
It did. On doing that American spin-off.
See, indeed, it did. Like, for real. Even when they make, like, this video right here that you see right here is basically what country would have the deadliest Squid Game. We all, the thumbnail says America would, and we all said America most likely would. But the thing about how they took place in what was it? North Korea. No, North Korea, South Korea. I think it was South Korea. Yeah, how it took place in South Korea is that these people were desperate for money. Desperate, man. And that's what we need to look for. A country where people are desperate. Like a bunch of homeless people are desperate for money. And we all said America, and then look what Squid Game did. It came to our answers and actually put that as a little teaser in the end of the episode of the final season. It was crazy, man. It was a woman too, hidden. It was a woman too doing the slap card game, and then the headmaster from the original Squid Game, he like drove past her. They both look each other dead in the eyes, like, you know what to do. You already know, boss. You already know. You already know. It's like he planned this, man. It's like this was his plan. It was crazy.
Check out our recent theory, seeing what games they should do in that one, by the way. Anyway, one thing that was a bit of a surprise for me in Season 3, though, was the games. Honestly, the focus of the show ended up being on the character drama, which was a good choice from a storytelling perspective, but for us here in our survival guide, I was worried that there wouldn't actually be enough here for a full episode. It ended up just squeaking by, but that's why this one is a little shorter. Don't fret, we do have a special, extra long project coming out soon to make up for it, though. Anyway, you all know what we're here to do. You've signed up for the Squid Game to hopefully earn a life-changing amount of money. All you have to do, beat some deadly versions of childhood classic games. So what's the best strategies to use here? Well, let's dive into it, friends. Here's how to give yourself the best chances to survive Squid Game Season 3. The first game they play in Season 3 is a sort of variant on hide and seek, which I've seen called Keys and Knives. Here, the remaining players are split into 2 teams. The blue team, who are the hiders, and the red team, who are the seekers, and then taken into a large maze-like arena. The hiders are given keys that unlock new parts of the arena and must avoid the seekers for 30 minutes. Alternatively, if they find the exit, they can then safely leave the arena. Meanwhile, the seekers must find the hiders throughout the arena and kill them within that 30-minute time limit. They're given knives to do this, but they don't have to use them. If a seeker does not kill a hider during the game, they cannot win and are eliminated. Hiders are then given 2 minutes to find a hiding spot before the seekers are then let loose. Okay, so let's start out with some basic strategies for hide and seek first. Starting off, you're gonna want to try and find some unconventional places to hide, places that you wouldn't expect people to actually look. Honestly, that is going to be a little difficult in this setup since there aren't a ton of nooks and crannies to really sneak into. Taeho did have a great idea to hide behind an open door into a stairwell, and honestly, this was brilliant. The only reason it didn't work was because Gi-hun was following his blood trail and noticed it disappear. But if you can find something similar and can fit behind that door, you should go for it. You may also want to try hiding behind a door inside one of the little offshoot rooms. If a seeker is quickly quickly running by and just glancing into the room looking for someone, they may not even see you. But if they do come inside, well, if you're prepared, you can surprise attack them with the door and hopefully take them out or get a hold of their weapon. Additionally, if you're hiding in a room with a closed door, listen carefully for people passing by and do not open the doors at all. Most seekers are going to be making a lot of noise as they run about, so you should be able to hear their footsteps. But likewise, the seekers are probably laser focused and trained on seeing any movement or hearing the noise of any of the doors closing. You don't want to give them any excuse to try and find out where you are. Also, if you're found and being chased by a seeker, try to take as many turns as possible to break sight lines and put as many walls between you and them as you can. And if worse comes to worse, just like we see player 100 do in the show, you can try to play dead next to someone less fortunate than you. To be clear, that is a risk though. If a seeker was paying attention to the numbers being called as they were eliminated, they may recognize that you're faking it and take you out. Oh, and another thing, something that just really annoyed me while I was watching this season, for the love of God, do not leave doors open behind you. No, you can't lock the doors again, obviously, but if you don't close them, a seeker will know that someone's been through this way and try to follow you. It's better
cover
to
your
waste as much time as
like
possible.
on God, cover your tracks, man. That's the whole point of this first game. Cover your tracks. You can't leave any blood behind. You can't leave any clues behind. No doors open. No nothing, man. This is life or death. This ain't no hide and seek. Oh, you found me. Ha, tag you in. No, they're gonna stab you to death. No, man. If you really wanted to survive that bad, you should have known. You should have known, like from the first time you saw this. You saw this, and the first time you became a hider. You should know not to close doors. Jesus, it's like these people want to die. But I did really love that part where the shockman. Well, the little spiritual lady that always bothered player 456 and teased them a bit. He almost killed her for real if the guards didn't stop him. I mean, the guards won't kill him for some reason, but they won't kill him for some reason, but they will. Yeah, if you really wanted to survive that bad, you can't leave any traces. But I did like that scene where player 100 tricked the shaman into and actually locked the door behind her. And I don't think she die in that one. I think she died. I think she died in that scene for real. Or I could be mistaken, but I think she. But the saddest thing, man, the one that really had me on my toes, was when the trans girl died, man. I forgot her name, well, their name, but the trans guy died, man. Like that was so fucking sad, man. And then it was by the same person who got her friend, who got their friend pregnant. It was by the same guy who got their friend pregnant. Like the girl who was pregnant. She gave birth right there. And what actually pissed me off a little was how they made is how she died and how they made the baby part of the game now. Like, what kind of sick fucks do that to a newborn? Like, she ain't have no. And plus, uh that baby had no self care. Like, it was just popped out the womb right there. No care at all. I don't even know how it's alive at this point. But that's wild, man. And then the baby ended up winning. Never in a million years would I thought a baby would win a deadly children's. Well, it is kind of a coincidence because they are children's game now. Mm.
To open as many doors as possible. But another strategy that the hiders maybe should have considered, sticking together. Yeah, this is actually immediately dismissed by player 100 when they first enter the arena.
Everyone, we should all spread out and don't just try to hide. We need to look for the exit.
And while
You never
there
seen a
is
scary
some logic
movie?
in that,
Never
especially
split
in
up.
trying to find the exit, I'm not entirely sure it was the best decision for a few reasons. A big one pointed out in the show is that there are different types of locks in the doors, and each hider is only given one type of key.
Why are you just standing there? The key doesn't fit.
Sticking together means that you'll be able to open any type of door that you find, and on top of that, you'll need one of each type of key to actually exit the arena. But perhaps even more important than that that? Well, there's safety in numbers. We see a couple of times in the game that there's clearly some hesitation when a seeker finds multiple hiders together, especially if the goal is to just kill one of them. And it makes sense, there's no penalty for hiders if they kill a seeker in self-defense, and if there are 3 or more hiders fighting just a single seeker, even if they have the advantage of the knife, they could easily be overpowered and killed. It could also let you sacrifice someone in your group if it looks like you're going to get caught, though I don't recommend doing this in the long run. The long-term strategy to win the Squid Game is building trust, so if you stab someone in the back, metaphorically, it may look more attractive to your allies to do it literally, because how can they trust you? And finally, a tactic that also becomes a lot easier with multiple people is barricading one of the rooms. If you pack in, say, 5 or 6 hiders into a single room with just one door and all—
Yo, fam, I'll be back. Anyway, give me 2 seconds, man. Give me 2 seconds.
of them use their entire body weight to keep that door closed, it's very unlikely that anyone's going to be able to force their way in unless they have a bunch of seekers working together, which probably isn't going to happen. Even then, pretty much all of the doors open into the rooms, so it's going to be way easier to hold that door shut by pressing on it with all of your weight than trying to open it by like slamming against it and pushing. As for the seekers, well, if you have this unenviable job, you're going to want to be systematic in your approach. Try every door you can, listen for any noise and look for any movement you can, and do your best to try to corner any hiders. If you see a blood trail, feel free to follow it, but know that this could be dangerous and waste your time because it might just lead to a corpse. But if time is running out and you're getting desperate, it could be worth a try. Honestly, what you're going to want to do here is basically the opposite of what I suggested for the hiders. Try to know what tricks they could pull, check behind doors, check inside of rooms, and just try to get it done as quickly as possible. If you see a large group of hiders, either avoid them so they don't kill you or try to pick off a straggler with stealth. I would also suggest teaming up with other seekers, but that also comes with a ton of risk because kills are split if you do that. So if you have 2 seekers kill just 1 hider, that only counts as half a kill for both seekers. The larger your group, the more that'll get split and the less likely all of you will survive, so I just don't recommend that strategy. And finally, if you don't have to, don't kill more if you don't need to. One of the seekers in the show suggests that
the only rule was we have to kill 1 person to pass, but they never said we couldn't kill more than 1. That means if we kill more of these blue there won't be enough of them left for all of the red ones to murder.
Basically, he wants to inflate their winnings because the prize money goes up by 2 for every hider killed by a seeker who has already won. I get the logic here. The long-term strategy is eliminating the competition for future games, but the big flaw here is that you don't know what that future game is going to be. So this is a massive risk that could get you a ton of enemies on top of just being morally reprehensible. I just don't recommend doing it. All right, with hide and seek out of the way, next up we got jump rope.
Oh, this was
the
my
schoolyard
favorite
version of the game. No, instead of a thin little string you have to jump over, it's a massive, solid pipe being swung by 2 robots. And you have to cross a bridge while jumping over the rope or else fall into a pit hundreds of feet deep. And worst of all, you only have 20 minutes to do this. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, loyal theorists.
Recess from this is like Recess from Baldi's Basics. All you have to do is jump. Just time it, man. Timing. If you're smart enough and you know timing that well, just time it, man. Like look at player 456 right here. He's doing this with a baby in hand, and then he has to go back and get the mother, but he never does because the mother just plop, you know. It was very sad.
Simple. There just isn't a big secret. This is a game of rhythm, and you absolutely can take some time to practice. Yes, the rope will start swinging faster and faster as time ticks down, as we see in the show, but you can take a couple of minutes to get into the rhythm with the jumps that you'll need. Once you have that down, take your time and cross the bridge. Only take a couple of steps forward with each revolution and give yourself plenty of time to prepare to jump. Yeah, if you try to like run quickly across the bridge, there's a good chance that you're gonna mess up your rhythm or lose balance after a jump, so just don't do that. Oh, and speaking of, you'll want to be staying on both legs instead of crawling like we see the first player do in the show. Basically, the least amount of time, energy, and movement you can exert while jumping.
I'm glad
over
this
the rope, the better.
junkie
And on top
did
of that,
die.
there's also a gap in the middle of the bridge that's going to prevent you from like trying to crawl under the rope if you're small enough to do that, so just don't do that. Oh, and speaking of that gap, you'll want some momentum for that jump. So when you get there, make sure that you're
Why'd they
already
give him a
moving forward
POV?
to let yourself cross. And just another note here, but if you get across and then dedicate your remaining time to making other players fail, just like we see one player do in the show, that's a bad bad idea. While you might think you're slick and have the moral failings to actually do this, if there are any other players across the gap that are a higher moral fiber than you, all that's gonna do is result in you getting pushed instead and
Bitch.
falling into the pit. Or maybe a larger, stronger player might make it across the bridge and get
Oh.
past you, at which point you've made a bunch of enemies who might want to see you dead in the next game. Which, speaking of, and here we get to the final game, which I'm gonna be calling the Stone Towers.
Stone
Here, the players
Towers.
are taken into a large cavern where there
This-
are 3 stone pillars
this,
shaped
man,
like a square,
this-
triangle, and circle.
Crazy,
you
man.
really do
Just
have
crazy.
to appreciate the game maker's dedication to their branding. Anyway, in this game, the players are taken to the top of the pillars where they must collectively decide who to push off to their deaths. At least one must fall each round, but as many can die as is needed or wanted. Also, there is a time limit, and if someone isn't eliminated in that time limit, everyone dies. Rounds begin when a button on the ground is pushed, and any deaths before or after that time do not count towards that round. So I'm gonna be straight up with you here, loyal theorists. This one is rough. The strategy here is almost entirely social, which we'll get to in a second, but it also involves the psychological torment of deciding who you're gonna kill. And given that they probably aren't gonna be willing, that means that you're also gonna be involved in someone's murder, an accessory at the very least, which must be devastating to one's conscience, especially if you avoided killing someone in like hide and seek or whatever. But okay, with all that in mind, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, what should our strategy be here? How should you approach this if you want the best chances of survival? Well, first off, there is a poll on each platform, which were put there to put distance between the players chosen to die and the rest of the players on the platform. Basically, you can use the poll to push them off while also maintaining
do it.
most of your safety. So right off the bat, you should absolutely go
nigga.
for this poll as soon as you can, giving yourself a bit of a position of power and authority within the group. In the worst case, you can use it as a weapon of self-defense, and depending on how each round goes, there's nothing saying you can't bring it with you to the next platform if the poll doesn't fall with the selected player at the end of each round. Additionally, if you want the best chances of survival here, well, I don't condone it, but use the element of surprise. As soon as a round starts, people will be expecting a discussion about what they're going to do, or at the very least, some hesitation about who's actually going to be the murderer. You know what they won't be expecting? An immediate attack. If you take the initiative, and if you're an awful enough person, you can pretty much immediately
That's
eliminate
player
the
100
selected
right
player
there.
by either pushing them or hitting them before they have any time to prepare. Alternatively, you can also use one person to distract the selected player and another person surprise them from the side or behind, or hey, I mean, you could just gang up on them. That has a lot of potential to go wrong like we see in the actual series. But honestly, all of that is really dark, and I think that this game is really the culmination of a lot of what we've talked about in this
Very.
survival series. We've said this multiple times throughout the entirety of our survival guides here, but the Squid Game is not a zero-sum game. There can and probably should be more than one winner. So if you want the best strategy for Stone Towers, truly, honestly, it's to not be a terrible person. If you have been a good person in the games, if you've made alliances, helped others throughout the entire experience, you're going to have a lot of people on your side, in your corner, who probably don't want you to die. People who can and will protect you as long as you protect them. This is actually why we see most of the players in this game die. They had no trust for one another, and their alliance ended up collapsing, even in little ways, which ended up with all of them dead. If there's anything that these survival guides have taught me while putting them together, it's that the real themes of this show, that humans are not cattle, that every life is precious, and that people are fundamentally good at
That's
their
exactly
core.
what
That
Player
right
40
there is the
456
real
taught
strategy
us.
for winning. Respect life, respect other people, and you'll have the best chance to come out on top. Or again, you could just not play. But hey, that's
It's
just a theory.
A film theory and cuts.
Up next on Film Theory, they're making an American Squid Game, but is that really the best choice?
It very much is. It very much is. Very. But that's How to Survive Squid Game Season 3 by Film Theorist. Make sure to like and subscribe for more reactions. And I'm also gonna start posting some basketball shorts too, and maybe a bit of gaming too. And later on today, I will post. I got a Reddit update. Like I post something. I posted in Reddit saying this is by far my favorite one here. So it said, so by Joshua Star 2022. I got an ARG on my channel, Josiah Star, my bad. Josiah Star, if you want to react to it. It's called I'm sorry, wait a minute. Eliezer easily get. Okay, never mind. It's an ARG. Feel free to copy down the text, cause yeah, no one can remember. And there's a playlist with all five videos. It's not much content wise, but it's an idea. So I love independent creators like this, and I really want to see more of your. I really want to see more of your creations and stuff. So I'm gonna watch that. That video will be posted um at least by 6 o'clock, at least by 6 or 9. It'll probably be dark by the time I film it and post it, cause I gotta film it, edit it, and then post it. So it'll probably be a little later than normal, but I'm gonna get that done. I'm gonna get it done and stuff, and then it'll be posted. But thank you so much, Josiah Star 2022, this um for this idea, and I really will go and uh check it out. But that's all from me. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what's your favorite film theory, and I'll see you then. I'm out. Peace.